Standing by. 5, 4, 3. Welcome to A Nice Place to Brew. I'm Jason.
And I'm George.
And this is our webcast, broadcasting every Monday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We're live on our YouTube channel, and our YouTube channel has all of our past episodes. Check it out. George and I also do a podcast under the same name, A Nice Place to Brew, on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever else you get your podcast from. Check us out on the web at niceplacetobrew.com. Check us out on social media on all those fancy social media apps under A Nice Place to Brew or Nice Place to Brew. How are you, George? What's going on?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing all right.
Good.
Yeah.
What are you
had
drinking
a little bit
tonight?
of a rough weekend, so I had a little bit of a rough weekend, so I'm taking it easy. I do have a bubbly, which is just carbonated water. Flavored water, and a little bit of Viking's Blood mead. But
nice.
it was a little bit of a rough weekend for me, so I'm taking it easy.
Yeah, rough weekend in terms of
Sunday was the first time in a long time I woke up feeling like death because of drinking the night before.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, point well taken. All right. Well, I think you're on a healthy path if you got just a little little tiny glass of Viking's blood and you're chasing it with something hydrating. I think you're going to be just fine.
That's the plan. Yeah.
All right.
What about yourself?
So I am drinking my last Pullman Brown Ale from our friends at Flossmoor Station.
Okay.
And I've not had a Flossmoor beer since we did the webcast several weeks ago with their head brewer, and I very much enjoyed this. So I'm very much hoping this can holds up, and I trust it will.
Good.
And at first sip, it does. This is exactly what I remember.
Nice.
Yeah.
So our whole podcast thing, has its roots and its origins in Back to the Future lore. With A Nice Place to Live being the
Hill Valley.
Not only Darien's town motto, but also Hill Valley, and spawned a bunch of different things for us, including the names of a number of different beers that we made. So when I got this in the mail from Loot Crate, I thought I had to show you what was going on here. First of all, and then, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. So...
That is amazing.
Hopefully you can see the license plate on the back.
Yes, very clearly. Out of time.
Yeah. But yeah,
can I give a plug? You know what? I don't want to necessarily turn this into a Back to the Future's fanboy episode, but I'm going to dive in here just for 1 second, then we'll come back around.
Dive away, sir.
Okay, so to plug another podcast, anybody who, or whether or not you're a regular listener of the Bill Simmons podcast or not, Bill Simmons Network, The Ringer, has a movie podcast that's called The Rewatchables, which is an amazing film podcast. I highly recommend it. They did a in-depth episode on Back to the Future, which came out within the last month. And whether or not you're a regular listener or not, I highly encourage everybody to go into whatever your podcast app is, find The Rewatchables, and listen to the episode about Back to the Future. They went so deep, and they came out with so many facts about the movie that I did not know before.
Huh. Okay.
So have you had a chance to dive in and listen?
No, but from that recommendation, I think I might have to.
It's yes.
Yeah.
Now, I'll say one of the things that they talk about at length, and this is no big secret. I think a lot of people know this, that Michael J. Fox was not the first choice to be cast as Marty McFly.
No, that I knew.
Yes.
Who was it? Was it Emilio?
No, it's not a familiar name, but the story goes.
Okay, go ahead.
and the podcast goes into more detail about this than we'll go here tonight, but they cast this guy and they went into production, and it took them into several days of shooting, maybe even several months of shooting, to find out this just isn't working. And Michael J. Fox, of course, was in full production with Family Ties at the time, and he continued, with being on the cast of that show throughout the filming of Back to the Future. But first, the studio had to make a difficult decision that they had to fire their main actor while they were into production, which also meant that they had to scrap every piece of footage that they had gotten for the movie so far, because anything that this guy is in has to go. So it was a very, very expensive decision to make, which it was. But here we are. And was that a decision that paid off? Well, considering, how the movie has become, as popular as it has, and, Marty McFly is a household name, then, I think the answer is pretty clear. So for more facts like that, check out the Rewatchables.
So I had heard this story before, and the actor's name was Eric Stoltz.
Okay,
and you're right. And not a ton of people are super aware of him, but one of the biggest things that he did was he was the lead actor in the movie The Mask. About that kid that had elephantism. They have a different name for it now that I don't know. But Cher was his mother, and
Huh.
Does this ring a bell for you? Yeah, so that's one of the biggest. But from my understanding, and I'm not sure if they touched on this in the podcast or not, but the reason why they went a different direction is just the chemistry wasn't working. The jokes weren't landing with Eric and everything, so they decided to go a different direction, and now this is what we have today.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right.
Out of time.
Eric Stoltz was apparently out of time.
Did you go to a brewery this weekend?
I did. And we went to a local brewery, took his dog over. A friend of ours was in town, took his dog over, and had a couple beers. I had a really good Marzen. Unionville, yeah, but had a different one. It was their Marzen, which was I think the second or third run they've done on that, and it was solid. I was very happy with it.
Nice. Mm-hmm. How many beers they have on tap right now?
8.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Their opening day, was it 1 or 2?
1.
It was 1. Okay,
so they've
all right.
come a long way.
Yes, clearly, yes.
Yeah, and I'm waiting for one to kick so they can get mine on tap. But they're working on that. That keg is over there in their keg room, and just waiting for one to kick so they can get it on tap.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I did go to a brewery as well this weekend.
Okay.
Visited our old friends at Emmett's, who are open for
how'd that go?
It went well. They're open for outdoor orders only. They both have they've always had a small patio area where they can fit maybe 4 or 5 tables, nothing more. They're operating with that, and also the city of Downers Grove gave them a permission to fence off an area of the sidewalk so they could throw several other tables. Maybe another 5, 6, 7, something like that. They narrowed down the menu, but apparently they've still been brewing during the time, because they had a full page of beers to offer. There was no reduced supply, no reduced variety at all, which was very cool to see. They have a new dry stout there, which I enjoyed. It was called Anvil, which is a 4% dry stout, very, very characteristic of Guinness. What is wrong with me? Very characteristic of Guinness, and it was served from a nitro tap, and it was great.
Okay.
It was
nice.
It was a great visit. Many familiar faces there, and I'm just happy to see things appear to be coming around. So
yeah, no kidding. As a side note, I feel like Guinness is some unholy cocktail of gin and Guinness that I'm not sure
That sounds
should exist,
awful.
but it does.
Oh boy, I really hope this isn't going to happen throughout the rest of the show. Um, let's see, homebrew related. I'm not sure I have a whole lot of news this weekend, other than
Yeah.
my root beer is taking form, and it's kind of
Oh yeah.
evolving. Yeah. I had a glass of it over the weekend, and the sweetness is mellowing out a little bit, and the carbonation is taking shape to a healthier degree, at least from what I see in the pour. So,
Okay.
and I think that's a step in a good direction. I mean, where I'm at in this process is I'm very pleased with the product. It is coming through a little bit sweeter than a root beer probably should, and I think the flavor notes are maybe a little more strong than they should be, so I would soften them just slightly. But
Okay.
in hell, for a first root beer run, I really can't complain much.
Yeah. No, just tweak from there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, not bad. Okay. Um, I had something I wanted to kind of talk about
Yeah.
homebrew related. Neither of us have done this, but I am curious about it just from an intellectual perspective. And I've been thinking, like I said, toying with creating different videos. I'm actually working on one or two right now, for us, for a nice place to brew. And so one of the things I was thinking about was brew in a bag. Now, like I said, neither of us have done this, but the general concept is you have your boil kettle, you get it up, your strike water temperature up to the right temperature. You add in a bag of grains and essentially steep it like a tea, and then after it's done with its infusion mash do its thing, you pull the bag out, let it drain into the kettle, and start boiling. No sparge, no rinsing or anything like that. Just pull the bag up, let it drain, and start your boil.
Right. Exactly.
So, I've been thinking about like what are the benefits and drawbacks to that. And a couple things that kind of come to mind is like from a benefit standpoint is you don't need a mash tun. Obviously if you're doing that, you don't need a mash tun. And I'm thinking cleanup is going to be a little easier too.
It's one less vessel to clean.
One less vessel to clean. You empty the bag, you rinse the bag, and assuming it's reusable, you're good to go. And I found a few bags online. I'm wondering about on the drawback side though, if you're going to rob yourself of some clarity and those kinds of things that you and some efficiency based on not being able to sparge the beer. So, what are your thoughts on that? What do you think of that?
On the surface, I think you're onto something. That does make sense. I think the only way that you could avoid that is if you had the timing of when to pull out the grains dialed in so tightly that you could avoid some of those characteristics.
Okay.
I don't think most people that are doing brew in a bag brewing are probably tuning in to that degree for that level of accuracy. And I think your resources for producing that accurately is probably limited too. So I think you're onto something.
Yeah, so that's what I'm wondering as well. Because we kind of look at it. It's something that kind of came around after we started going into all grain.
Right.
I think it existed before that, but it really became popular afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think both of us kind of look at it as an intermediate step between extract and true all grain, if you will, of going to a mash tun.
I feel very comfortable saying that. I think that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, but I going back with the concept of it's as complicated as you want it to be. I think for certain brewers with, because if you don't have the space for all those different vessels and everything, brew in a bag, I think you could make some very high quality beer with less equipment. And if you're in a small area, like you're in the garage of an apartment building and you need to be able to store everything away when you're done, it might be the better way. It might be a better way to go for a lot of people. So
You could make that same argument for extract brewing.
oh, for sure. Yeah, but I'm thinking with brew in a bag versus extract, you have more control over, your recipe and things like that. So than you do with an extract. I mean, but yeah, no, I definitely, yeah, you could definitely make that argument, and that's why a lot of people do extract brewing and stick with extract brewing, is because
Yeah.
hell, you don't even need a bag.
Yeah, exactly. Boil, hops,
So,
chill, ferment.
yeah, I guess one of the biggest drawbacks I was thinking about was I can't imagine when you're pulling that bag out. I've seen people coming up with like pulley systems and things to be able to get that bag out and still be able to have it suspended so it can drain into the kettle.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine trying to hold up a bag of wet grains. So you have like what, 15 pounds of dry grains, and then you pull up a bag and you have it with wet grains draining into the kettle.
Yeah.
Can't imagine that's the lightest thing in the world.
It's not
Hey,
the
Scott.
lightest thing in the world, and it's not the coolest thing in the world either. So you need to, you definitely need to exercise some caution when handling those. Hello,
Meeting
Scott?
temperature. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, and hey, Scott.
From
Yes.
WNY Brews. How are you this morning, sir?
I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
How are you this
No,
evening,
you're fine.
sir?
I am doing awesome. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm so sorry I haven't been on the past couple of times, guys. I feel bad. I'm sorry.
It's all
No, you're good.
man.
No
It's
worries.
great. It's great to have you. Thanks for calling in.
I
beer
could not
flow.
find my phone. I was running around for the past 15 minutes looking for my phone, like, oh my God, I have to get on. I found it.
You missed
Yeah,
about 12
Buffalo.
minutes of Back to the Future talk and about 2 minutes
Oh,
of
good.
brew in a bag talk. So
Yeah.
you're fully caught up.
All right. I'm wearing my
So
my Buffalo shirt, my beer
Yeah.
flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beer flow. Yeah. So Scott, have you ever done brew in a bag?
I mean, the Grainfather and the Robo Brew are both electric brew in a bag systems. But if we're saying traditional brew in a bag, yeah, once or twice.
Yeah. Okay. So what we were talking about was, as far as brew in a bag versus like mash tun all grain, because you can't do things like sparging and a true recirculation to be able to set the grain bed. I worry about efficiency and clarity as part of that you're probably not going to be able to get as much because you can't sparge it, you can't rinse the grains, you can't, get that at much that you'll have less efficiency, and without the Vorloff, you're gonna you run into some clarity issues in your boil. Can you corroborate any of that?
When I was doing beer in a bag, I did have to up my grain bill just a little bit to get the
Okay.
same kind of efficiency that I was or not the same efficiency, but to get the same numbers I was getting out of my typical system. And yeah, the second part, I'm sorry, you were saying?
The clarity, because you can't
Oh.
recirculate.
Yeah. No, I never had a problem with clarity in brew in a bag or in my mash tun. The clarity of the Grainfather and the Robo Brew is pretty good, but it is a recirculating mash.
Okay.
But it's called an electric brew in a bag system because instead of a bag, you've got a stainless steel pipe, but it's basically the
Right.
same thing.
Yeah.
But that is
Right.
a recirculating mash, and you can you don't Vorloff, but you can sparge.
Right. Yeah, which I
Basically a
think
fly
is
sparge.
which is a little bit different than just a traditional brew in a bag thing.
Yeah.
And what we were talking about when you came in was the other drawback that I could see to it is I can't imagine pulling that bag full, like 15 pounds of grains that have been soaking in water for how long is the lightest thing in the world,
I don't know if you've noticed how huge I am, but it was super simple, super easy.
One hand, no problem, right? Yeah.
There's a couple of the guys in the homebrew club who have set up pulleys in the garage. And for the 2 times I did brew in a bag, I used like a ladder and made a derrick system out of the ladder with the pulley in the middle and then just pulled it out that way. I mean, there's ways to make it happen.
Yeah, I've seen that is people have used like what are those called? Like a step ladder that you get, yeah, and then just run a rope over top of it, connect it to the bag, and pull it out that way.
Yep, and then you leave it. I would leave it dangling there for basically the entire boil to just let stuff drip in.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of liquid that's going to get held up in there.
Yeah, but again, I've only done it maybe twice. One of the things I really like about the electric brew in a bag systems, the Grainfather, the Robo Brew, is exactly that. You've got that huge flat bottom, so when you bring it up, and it's heavy, when you bring that malt pipe up and you put it into place and you let it drip. When I was using my Coleman mash tun, Coleman Extreme as a mash tun with my copper manifold, I would have a bunch of losses in the bottom of that, and there's like 0 losses except for what the grain actually soaks in.
Right.
On this, because everything just drips out until it starts boiling, and then I take it off.
So no dead space whatsoever.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, everything just comes right to the bottom. And the same with the brew in a bag.
Yeah. No, I can see that too.
And there are people who say don't squeeze the brew in a bag, and then there are people who say absolutely squeeze your brew in a bag.
I was wondering about that. Yeah, because do you squeeze it or not?
I feel like I have one of the negative examples of that, because I definitely remember a beer that I made that went bad, and part of the reason for it was later explained to me why they suspected that things went bad, and that was on account of pressing the grains as the Vorloff was happening. Okay. And it was like, and everybody like was looking at me saying like, no, don't do that.
Was it like tannins? Was it astringent? Was it? Because that's what they always say, right? If you're going to squeeze it, you get the tannins in there. And
yeah.
I bet there's a brewlosophy on this.
I bet so.
That's a great point.
On squeezing the grain?
Yeah.
You wonder how many of those same people like, oh, don't squeeze the grain, are the same people who, 10 years ago would have been like, what, you're not doing a secondary? What, are you crazy?
It's true. Yeah. Huh.
So what's tonight about? What's the topic? Let's do this.
Well, so far, brew in a bag.
Yeah.
All right.
So what was your idea for this, George? About making videos for brew in a bag?
Yeah, so I'm thinking about like making and I know it's been done, but again, part of it is just me wanting to learn how to use different video editing software, is to do some how-to videos, and plus I've never done it before, so all right, MacGyver in me is like, try it out, why not, right? And because I figure I've already got a 15-gallon pot, so the only thing I'd really need is the bag. And then I could try it out. But yeah, I was kind of curious how that would go. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. So Scott, he looks like he's in the middle of something.
Go ahead.
He's back.
Okay. I think I have something here, and I mentioned it, I think last time. That I'm the only one here that's done something. My beer is going to be on tap at a local brewery pretty soon.
Oh, very nice.
Moving up.
Moving on.
What kind of beer?
It's a porter that
Excellent.
came out really well. The darker beers aren't really. I wasn't jamming on it, and I was complaining to them about how I was going to drink 5 gallons of it, and they said, "We'll bring it here. We'll put it on tap, and we'll get you some feedback." So,
Very nice.
yeah.
Yeah, I've
So,
never
yeah.
had that for sure.
Have you brewed anything since we last talked, Scott?
No. The sour is finally ready. I bottled it up for you guys today.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I'll be sending that out tomorrow.
Okay, great.
And,
Thank you. Much
Love
appreciated.
to try that. Yeah.
And Paul said somebody needed one of the cream ales, so I'll send out another cream ale too. I don't remember who never got theirs.
I eventually got mine.
Yes.
Somebody leaked, right? Somebody's cream ale leaked out.
Well, Jason,
Okay.
yeah.
So I gotta send you my cream ale, or not my cream ale, the Jenny cream ale.
Yeah.
Jenny cream ale,
Well,
yeah.
it was the Jenny original that came poked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
That's
either
not
way,
good. I'm not gonna send that one.
the cream was enjoyable. So I would not be afraid to drink another one of those.
All right, but yeah, the sour I'll be sending out tomorrow because we finally got it carbonated and slightly over carbonated, so I could bottle. So knock on wood.
Okay, right on.
All right.
Right on.
Yeah.
George, was that the episode you were not present for? Was the episode with John Bitterman where we talked about the history of the breweries at Joliet?
No, I was there.
Yes.
That was a good episode. I really enjoyed it.
Yes.
yeah.
No, I was saying George. George was not.
I was.
That
Yeah.
George wasn't on.
Yes.
Because when you guys all hung up, John and I talked for an extra half an hour. It was great.
Yeah, no,
I had
I'm
a
sorry.
feeling you would.
Sorry, I had to miss that one. I did
Yeah.
drink the cream ale on the next show in solidarity
Okay, good.
with all of that. Yeah, and I will admit that Genesee regular is kind of staring at me in my fridge, and I'm like, I know you're bad. I'm gonna have to drink you eventually, but I know you're bad.
So, just to call out that episode a little bit further, everybody should check out the episode from June 4th with John Bitterman if you've not heard it thus far. We did a deep dive into the brewery history of Joliet and covered a lot of the Illinois area. John is a tremendous knowledge base around the subject, and he brought a lot to the webcast that night. It's well worth looking at. So check out the June 4th episode.
It was super cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's like to talk to him afterwards too. Like, all right, so explain what we said here, and then prohibition, and cleared up some things that I had wrong, which was awesome.
Nice.
What are you drinking tonight, Scott?
Drinking the sour.
Okay.
So
okay. Right on.
I was drinking this sour on the latest West New York Brews episode, which won't be live for another week and a half. But I was asking the brewer, like this, I called it a Berliner Weiss, my original recipe. But because I didn't have wheat, it's like all 2-row, which is not Pilsner, right? It's not Pilsner and wheat like a Berliner Weiss should be. It's all 2-row, and it was soured with a probiotic in a kettle sour. Like, what do you call this at this point? Like, you can't call it a Berliner Weiss. You can't call it a Weiss at all. And we settled on this is an American sour. So
Okay.
that's what I'm sending you guys. I'm sending you an American sour.
I kind of like that because you're right. Once you get away from those ingredients, you're really not talking about a Weiss beer anymore.
Well, the beer I was drinking was from Trillium, and I got it as a gift. And somebody gave me a Trillium Berliner Weiss, and it was a mixed berry Berliner Weiss, and it tasted like a mixed berry smoothie. Like it didn't taste like a Berliner at all. It was super sweet, thick. It was still only 3.8%, but it was a mixed berry, basically a milkshake Berliner Weiss. And my question was, at what point do we no longer call this a Berliner? And so that's why we're not calling this a Berliner.
Okay. I like that.
You're getting a 5% American sour with 2-row and Kavita.
Did you put any fruit into it?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
You can. It's just a clean sour. And
Okay.
I'm hoping it's super clean when it gets to you because it's super clean right now.
Okay.
You can't
All
see
right,
it.
sorry,
I keep holding it
Jason.
up like you can. I could be drinking water for all you know.
I am drinking water. So,
Oh, nice.
Jason, you were saying? Sorry, man, I stepped on you.
So my question was going to be, is there a category for an American sour in the BJCP style guidelines? And
Not
according
that
to
I
the
know of.
2015, the answer is no.
Yeah.
It's not here.
Which we never did figure out why everyone treats the 2018 style guide like Windows ME.
You know what? Should we just reach out to somebody at the headquarters of the BJCP and we can just hash this out?
I feel
Is
like
there
we
a
should.
2018? Like the 2018
Uh-huh.
is like an addendum, right? It's not a full style guidelines, right?
No, I'm pretty sure they came out with a full style guideline.
Let's make this
And-
happen.
That's a good question.
Let's-
I don't know.
Let's reach out. I mean, somebody's going to respond to the email on their website.
I've
Yeah.
never seen the 2018 guidelines.
I feel like neither has anybody else. Maybe
Yeah.
outside of their main office in Minnesota.
I've seen the 2015. I've never seen the 2018.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Well, at any rate, 2015 apparently was a good year for style guidelines.
Right, for beers. I don't think 2020 is going to come up with a style guideline. I think we got.
I don't know.
bigger
People
fish
have
to
time
fry.
on their hands.
No,
maybe.
that's exactly where I was going to go. This feels like a perfect time to be developing style guidelines. Stay at home, sample beers, write up styles and metrics. Why not?
Right.
Makes sense to me.
Maybe you guys have seen the same thing I've seen here, but the Buffalo brewing scene, just because people have time and they're doing their best to get people out to their tap rooms for can releases, we have a new release from practically every brewery every week.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes multiple releases from every brewery every week, and it's super hard to keep up right now because they're doing their best to get people out. So they're putting out brand new stuff every single week right now.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, that's good. They're probably catching up from things they made, just a little bit ago, but then couldn't sell. So
yeah,
and
I mean, some of our local breweries hit the ground running. Like we have one of our breweries has a social distancing series, and there's multiple versions of the same style of beer, like the home haircut, the virtual Zoom call. I can't remember the names of all these. I'm sorry. Yeah, they have like 6 or 7 of this social distancing series that they started right away, and then other breweries like Community Beer Works, one of our breweries here, started taking their Pilsner, which they weren't selling because they kegged it just before this all went down. So they had kegs, and they actually sold kegs to anybody for $40. Like, come on down, grab a keg of Pilsner. And then after they sent that out and they still had a bunch left, they brought it back, and then they added lemon to it. And now they're putting it out in cans.
Okay.
It's a Meyer Lemon Pilsner, which is super good.
Yeah, I like Meyer lemons.
And everyone's getting super creative, but it's hard to keep up.
Yeah.
What's the taproom scene like in Buffalo right now?
Really reticent. We're New York, right? So we're the opposite side of New York. We're New York country versus New York City, but everyone's wearing masks. This is the first week people have been back out to tap rooms.
Is it outdoor only, or is there? It is.
No,
okay, so Illinois only. Is exactly the same right now.
Yeah. So when I went to Community Beer Works this past week, the first day that they reopened, you had to be 6 feet apart. Everyone was outside. All the tables, it was reservation only. And you sit down. Then you can take your mask off as long as you're far away from people.
Right.
And then someone would come to you. What can I get you from the bar? And then they would bring it out. So you don't walk up to the bar. Everybody's wearing masks. They handed me a bottle of hand sanitizer, but there was already one on the table. So they handed me one, and there's one on the table. So they're
Jeez.
being super, super cautious. Everybody around here is being super cautious.
Yeah.
That is not the story where I live.
Yeah.
No.
Virginia, I would
No,
imagine.
no guidelines at all. Just do what you want.
No, they're like our governor put out some actually really good guidelines. He's one of the only governors that's actually a medical doctor as well.
Oh, cool.
But I live in a county with 30,000 people and less than 100 cases of COVID, so far. So there's actually a good portion of the people that we run into regularly that straight up think it's still think it's a hoax, which is a interesting dynamic to deal with. Now, yes, right now, part of the guidelines is everything needs to be outside. You should maintain social distancing and things like that. And when you're out and about, you should be wearing a mask. A lot of the businesses you'll find around here have Fourth Amendment notices on their windows that says, if you come in without a mask, we're going to assume you have a medical condition that says that you can't wear one, and we're not going to ask you about it because of your Fourth Amendment protections. So it's their way of getting around the ordinance and not turning people away, and basically saying that we don't have the rights to ask you about it.
So if you do,
So,
okay, let me
yeah.
just break that down. That's very interesting. So
Yeah.
if you are not wearing a mask, you are assumed to have some form of medical condition that you cannot talk about.
Excuse me.
That
So-
you are assumed to have some sort of medical condition that would prevent you, like some sort of respiratory condition that would prevent you from wearing a mask.
But why would a respiratory condition prevent you from wearing a non-airtight mask?
No, there's legitimately some respiratory conditions like severe asthma and things like that where people can't wear masks. And so people are supposed to make reasonable accommodations for them. And reasonable accommodations typically means like somebody will come out and ask you what you want, go in and get it. And then, so you don't have to come in. The way my lovely county has interpreted that is, we're just going to assume you have one, and our reasonable accommodation is to let you in anyway and just not ask you about it, because if you can run into HIPAA and Fourth Amendment and things like that. Now, don't get me wrong, I love where I live and I love the people here, but it is a very conservative area, very Trump-centric area, and so there's a lot of people here that legitimately believe that that COVID's not a big deal and that it's overblown in order for political purposes. This just happens to be an election year, blah blah blah.
True.
So, where Scotts County is city is very, conservative in their approach, ironically enough, mine is very liberal and
role reversal.
Following the guidelines, but to the letter, not to the spirit, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you mean to say Fifth Amendment, or am I just too stupid to know what the Fourth Amendment is?
I think it was Fourth Amendment.
Fifth Amendment is the right to privacy, and that's the one they read you with your Miranda rights.
Yeah, but which Fourth Amendment isn't Fourth Amendment search and seizure?
Oh.
Yeah, the right to be secure in your house, protect against unreasonable searches and seizures.
Oh, okay.
And and things like that. So they do invoke the Fourth Amendment. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you mentioned about asking about medical conditions, that seemed like more of a Fifth Amendment issue. That's where my brain went there.
Yeah, Fifth Amendment's more about not incriminating yourself.
Which would fit if you were talking about asking about somebody's medical conditions.
True. Yeah, but I'm now you got me thinking about it, but I'm reasonably certain that I've seen enough of these notices around.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
But, that said, even for those people that are, and this is why I love where I live, even for those people that don't feel like they need to take the precautions and things, they still respect the people that do. So for those
Yeah.
of us that show up with a mask on, that we sit slightly farther away, that we avoid physical contact and things like that, they're still respectful of that and still take that into account.
I went to my first social gathering of any size beyond 3 this past weekend.
Okay.
Yeah. So I went to a gathering which topped out at a number of 8. It was all outdoors in a backyard and kept 6 feet apart. And even with all that, I mean, which I think just by its own framework is, certainly paints the picture of something very low risk.
Mm-hmm.
It still felt like I was somewhat kind of breaking the law. at least that's the way I've been conditioned right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I get it.
that's
Weird
that's all I can say
times.
about it. Yeah, it is absolutely weird times. It's like, and you look at this, it's like everything about this is about as innocent as it could possibly be.
Right.
Why do I feel like this is like prohibition times? Like I'm in a speakeasy right now
Yeah.
because I'm hanging out in a backyard with 8 people.
Yeah.
It's so crazy,
It is. Yeah, but, hey, in case you were wondering, Vikings blood still tasty.
Go easy on that glass. I see you're already like,
What are you talking about? I'm only taking a little bit off the top there.
yeah, I know. Whoa,
Oh, I
go
see.
easy,
Oh,
go easy.
Sarcasm.
You've gone
I
through
see.
1/4 of that shot glass.
I don't think you understand how much like death I felt on Sunday morning when I woke up.
I totally believe you. I mean, trust me, we both have been there. We're not kids. We've been through this before.
Oh man, yeah.
And listen, when it sucks, it sucks. Believe
It sucks.
me. Yeah, we both know that.
I was able to share my
What the hell was it? I mean, what did you in like that? I mean, were you drinking some crazy stuff?
a bunch of beer, oddly enough, a little bit of mead and some cinnamon whiskey. Not cinnamon, caramel whiskey.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
From the moonshine place that we went to when we were in Tennessee. So
Right on. Right on.
yeah.
What kind of
Basically
mead did you have? And any parting thoughts from our recent episode about mead with Unpossible Mead? Is that what spawned the craving for mead this weekend?
A little bit. I won't lie.
Okay. All right.
And we had pulled out our liquor cabinet basically to see what we wanted to drink and everything, and I saw the Vikings blood in there, and that combined with our discussion with Unpossible, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna have some of that. Yo, hey.
So you had you had mead in the arsenal?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
typically have
awesome.
a bottle of Vikings blood in there. It doesn't go very fast, but because when I drink it, I usually drink like a shot glass at a time. But
well, it certainly ages well.
oh yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
What's the
But
ABV on Vikings blood? Is it 13, 14%?
I think something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But my thoughts, if people are listening to this and they haven't listened to that one, listen to that one. The guy had a lot of really good knowledge about mead, and it's not something that we have a ton of familiarity with, it being, beer's sweet half brother. So, yeah.
I have a little bit of experience with mead.
Yeah.
Plus, we're on this week's Songs and Takeout. We are drinking mead.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah,
What,
from our
what
local
kind?
meadery.
Okay.
Well, it's a boucher,
Bochet.
which is when you caramelize the mead first, or caramelize the honey before making the mead.
Right.
Yes.
So it's called Bobby, based on the Water Boy.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's Bobby Boucher. And
I think if you make a Bochet, you almost have to make a Waterboy reference in the name of the mead.
it's great.
Yeah.
And I have a barrel-aged version of the Bobby Boucher as well.
Okay.
Right? They're like 13%. They're phenomenal.
Nice.
Yeah.
So let me explain what beer I just went to get. I am drinking an Eagle Trail IPA from Ellicottville, which the last episode we talked about Ellicottville, or a couple episodes ago, Ellicottville and Southern Tier.
Oh, right
okay.
on. Okay.
This being the older of the two breweries
Okay.
and the one that spawned Southern Tier.
Okay.
Wow.
It has 5 additions of Apollo hops with a citrusy aroma and resiny bitterness. Just Apollo? Interesting.
5 editions,
my-
same hop.
It's 8% too. Jesus, I didn't know
Dang.
that.
That is.
Yeah.
God.
Is that
Let me think about
technically
that for a second.
Is that technically a double?
8%,
I would call that a double
8%
at
is
8%.
right is right on the border of a double.
Yeah. Eagle Trail IPA.
I think 7.5 is the Mason Dixon line between single and double.
Sure,
So,
I'm in.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it would be a double.
Yeah. In fact, Beersmith agrees with you.
You just have Beersmith at the ready. Like,
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, legitimately always. It's on my second monitor here when I'm talking to you guys, just in case I need it.
Awesome.
Preparation.
Yeah.
I think I keep hearing things. That's why I keep turning to the side.
Yeah, but 7.5 is the D mark. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and this
technically
one's
that's a
8.
double IPA.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember, and maybe I can look this up while we're talking here. Your point about the caramelized honey, Scott, in mead, I do believe that there is a specific separate name for those types of meads where the honey is caramelized.
That's the Boucher. That's that style.
Is it?
Pretty sure.
I don't know what just happened. Sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay.
I think
We
I
were
answered
talking
my
about
own
it.
question.
Yeah, I think you are too. But he was saying that he thinks there's a certain name for the caramelized mead, and
He's
I'm
right.
pretty sure
He's
it's
right.
Boucher. Yeah.
It's a Boucher. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it's called Bobby.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
we'll just
mead's-
cut that out.
For
Oh
sure.
wait, no, this is a live webcast. No,
Can't cut that out,
officially look like an idiot. No, because I remember.
There's a Western York Brews episode from last year where we talked to the Lily Bell Mead producers, where they talked
No.
I
about
listened to
Bouchers.
that one.
All right.
Paulie and I made
Yeah,
a
I
5-gallon batch of mead last Thanksgiving time.
Nice.
Yes, and it came out very, very well. It was really good. What was I going to say? And yes, I think we accidentally made a Boucher without knowing what the name was.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Do you drop
So-
something in there? Something that was like boiling hot, like a stone?
No,
Glowing
it was
stone?
just a matter because we had to heat up the honey because the honey had been around so long that it had crystallized. So we had to heat it up just to loosen it.
Okay.
So I think just that natural heating process was enough, and the stirring was enough to caramelize it slightly.
Awesome.
Yeah, wouldn't
Awesome.
trade it at all.
Can I tell you a very quick story?
Yes.
Our local homebrew competition, the Amber Waves of Grain, which happened back in March, before this all went down. There's a mead competition as part of it, and only one person makes mead, and they run away with all of the prizes every year.
The mead guy runs away with everything.
The mead guy, he walks out with like 6 pounds of PBW, like 5 bottles of Star San, a sack of grain. Next year, I'm making mead just so that I don't have to buy PBW and Star San anymore.
You know your competition.
Isn't a sack of grain wasted on him though?
No, I mean there's a huge panel of prizes because it's the biggest one in the area.
Uh-huh.
And when you win, it doesn't matter what you're making. You win, you go up, you pick your prize.
Right, I know, but does he also make? I guess he also makes beer.
Oh yeah, he makes
okay.
very good beer as well.
Yeah.
But he makes good mead, and he runs away with everything.
Okay. That's funny.
Is he a professional brewer too?
No, he's not.
Ah, okay. All right. Well,
You
hats
know-
off to him then. He's doing a lot
I
of things
know, right?
right.
He's a nice guy, and he makes all this. But I'm sitting there like, all right, next year I'm making a mead.
One things that I did remember, because I remembered basically Mead and Melomel when we talked to that guy. But, the other ones that I didn't know were, it go to show that mead is a little bit more complicated than you would think. It's more a little bit more than just water and honey. You're shaking your head no. Not to make, Jason.
It is that. No, it is that simple.
But no, not to make. That there's
It
different...
is not.
There's different styles, different varieties, more varieties than I would have than I thought or had expected.
How is beer less complex than that?
And I'm not saying that it's not. I'm saying that
I didn't hear
in
that.
my head,
That's not what I heard.
Yeah, in my head, it was either mead or fruit mead. But turns out it's either mead or fruit mead or syrup mead or braggot mead or
fair enough.
Caramelized mead, which I'm sorry, it's caramel, this caramel crap.
Caramel.
But one of the ones, because this page for a meadery has 18 different styles on it, and 18 different types. Yeah. And one of the ones that I definitely want to maybe look at in the near term, let it age for the winter, is a mulled mead. That concept sounds really, really good. Basically make a mead, like a slightly thicker, more full-bodied mead, and then before you serve it, you heat it up with mulling spices, and then you
made with water and rum, which British.
That sounds really good.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
It really does. Well, mulled spices, I'm like, oh, God, I'm in.
I think
Scott, I think, is cheating in this.
Sorry,
to look this up.
I hate Googled.
And he's hitting the mute button trying to be...
I hate Googled my Google. And I was thinking what was grog, but as I said it, I'm like, nope, grog I'm pretty sure is just rum and water. And
Are you trying to say glog?
It's just rum and water. No, grog.
Grog.
G-R-O-G.
Grog. I don't know what grog is.
It's a pirate drink. It's rum and water.
Rum and water, yeah.
How do I not know this? What?
No,
but you've made glog before.
I have. That's what I thought it was.
What's glog?
Glog is a spiced wine drink that's served warm.
Okay.
Right. So it's a form of mulled wine, basically.
Mulled wine, yes, is the way it's labeled. Yeah. And
I'm learning all sorts of stuff. It's great.
Served with cookies, it is amazing. It's one of the best drinks you'll ever have.
It's a Swedish drink. That's right.
The roots are in
where
Sweden,
it originated from.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
So was that Alexa who answered us?
No, that was Google. I have one of the display ones.
Okay.
Here in the kitchen, so you can ask it recipes, and it's got the display on it.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're super fancy. Super fancy.
I choose to. I work too much in technology to have wiretaps in my house like that.
See, now, the way I feel, like, listen, they're already getting all of my data. I might as well get some use out of it.
Yeah, no, it's totally fair. I get it. I just, oh man, I'll tell you what. And I'm sure Google and whatnot would be like, no, it's fine. But as a technology guy, the most advanced lock I will have in my house uses a key.
Yeah.
The most advanced lock in my house uses a key.
You can see what they listen to. You can pull up your records and see what has been listened to.
What they tell you they listen to.
You know what? And still, there's a lot there. But again, I'm already giving up a bunch of my security by being on Facebook.
Yeah.
And by accepting cookies. And I'm just, you know what? If I can sell my data, great. Because other people are making money off of my data. I might as well sell my data too.
Yeah. It took Hannah forever to convince me to get a Facebook portal device so we could do that with my family.
Okay. Yeah, right. Same idea.
Yeah, no, I did eventually cave on that because there's a physical switch on the top that turns off the camera and microphone. And some hacker group got a hold of one, tore it apart, and it is an electrical disconnect when you shut
Oh.
that. So it's not a logical, hey, we're going to stop listening. It's a physical disconnect. Like the electricity could not go from the microphone to the receiver when it was turned off. So I was like, all right, I'm good with that.
See, I just don't care.
Yeah, I know.
They
I understand that too.
They can just
That's what
want to
they're
know
counting on.
and whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like, what do I got to hide?
Yeah. I get it.
Go ahead and listen in. You want to find out that I'm looking for pretzel recipes? You do that.
I got a really good pretzel recipe, and I feel like this is homebrew related because pretzels and beer. I mean,
Absolutely.
Great combination.
yeah.
Is it an Alton Brown pretzel recipe?
No, this is my grandmother's pretzel recipe.
Ooh, even better.
Yeah, so she takes the like the little twists, the little guys, not the big thick ones, and drizzles oil and like the ranch dressing packet, not liquid ranch, but powdered ranch all over it, and then bakes it at, I think, 250 for about an hour. And it bakes all that ranch kind of flavor into it, and they're super tasty.
We're talking about pre-made pretzels. Okay.
We are talking about
I was
we're
talking
not
about
talking about
making
home.
pretzels.
No. Too much work. No, this is taking pre-made pretzels and making them better.
All right.
Yeah.
Elevating the pre-made pretzel.
Right. Yes.
Ranch flavor.
Ranch flavor.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's tasty. So
I do love me some pretzels.
yeah.
Yep.
And it's what was the these pretzels are making me thirsty.
See? That's why it's a combination that makes sense.
What is that
Yeah.
from?
Seinfeld.
That's from Seinfeld.
Oh, okay. Oh, you just like I know what was that? My wife does not like Seinfeld. She does not. I'm just getting through The Office right now.
I much prefer Seinfeld to The Office. My wife did not like Seinfeld either until I had brought it up so many times. She's like, "Fine, screw it. We're gonna watch like the first 2 seasons. I'm gonna power through it." And by the end of the first, she was hooked, and we watched all 9 seasons.
Seinfeld is a phenomenal show.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's arguably the best sitcom ever made.
I could see that. I'm only finally, after 5.5 seasons, getting into The Office.
See, that's where it starts to go downhill for me.
Oh, okay.
Like after season 4, I'm done. It's
super cringy in the first couple of in the first couple of seasons.
First
But
couple
now
episodes,
I'm starting to like Michael Scott a little bit more after 5.5 seasons. That's where I'm at. This is a beer podcast. I'm so sorry, guys.
No.
This is whatever we go down in these rabbit holes all the time.
Yeah.
And this is a happy hour. Let's not forget that.
Quick
True
promo
enough.
on this. A Nice Place to Brew is still doing other episodes outside of this, right?
Yes, and speaking of promos, we have one for you.
Good.
Yes.
So when do you
Actually,
guys
we have
record
2.
the actual A Nice Place to Brew podcast?
When we decide to.
So we are planning on
And why
doing that
haven't
soon.
I been invited?
It's see, that's a solid question.
I'm sorry. Just me being a dick.
Hat in hand. I'm not wearing a hat, but it's in my hand right now.
Yeah. No, we've been so busy doing this that honestly we haven't done the podcast recently, but we definitely should. It's definitely in the back of our mind that we need to do that.
Yeah, it's not off the table by any means.
I was just saying to somebody, when they asked, "Hey, how's the beer podcast going?" This is somebody who's never once listened to one of them, which is fine. I'm very happy that they asked, "How's the beer podcast going?" I'd be like, since this coronavirus thing hit, we've done one episode a week, which is not normal for me to do one a week. But we've done one a week since March.
We
how's
did that.
how's the content?
Insane.
Are you happy with it?
Other people on the podcast might be listening. They're not. I would say no. I'm not totally happy with it.
You're not real. Okay, all right. That's totally fair.
Well, and to be fair,
I'm happy with the consistency.
Okay.
That's what I'm happy with.
and
Yeah.
to be fair, Jason, I remember when we did that, we were struggling a little bit towards the end too.
See, I got to listen back to those episodes because I remember being pretty damn pleased with that month straight that we did once a week.
Well, so Scott, how do you guys we don't script ours per se, but we do have
Nope.
like planned out notes and everything, like
Yeah,
of what we want to
bullet
talk
point
about.
out like the segments and the big picture topics that we're covering.
Do you guys do
Yeah,
that?
we'll just say a topic really. But for the most part, during the Corona thing, it's one of the local brewers from the 40 breweries that we have. And talking about what they've been doing the past 12 weeks. What have you been doing to make it work? What's worked for you? What do you have coming up? That kind of stuff.
Okay, so it's a little bit more free form.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
sometimes, like the one I'm editing right now, which I should have had out 2 days ago, but I'm still working on, is 3.5 hours that I want to get down to 1. And
You're going to
tough.
cut 2.5 hours?
Out of it? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
And
right. No wonder
yeah, it's-
editing's taking a while.
I have, and I've had this episode for 3 weeks, and I'm still been working on it. Like I was working on it today, but and I've got editing techniques that I can share that I'm not right now because it's insider baseball kind of stuff, but I'm really proud of how I get into it.
Okay.
So that'll be a different thing, a different day.
Can we talk, Scott? I'd be as a guy who edits audio myself, I'd be interested in learning a little bit.
Yeah, I say I edit it like I'm playing piano. Like both hands have their duties.
Yeah.
When I'm doing it, and it's
I think we're probably doing a lot of the same things, but I'm sure I can learn a little bit.
So tell me if you guys run into this too. When I was editing consistently, I would start watching the waveforms more than listening to.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that's not true. It sounds weird.
You recognize certain words on waveform.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
and like
first of all, you know a breath.
Seeing the pattern
You know what
of
it
it
looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like everyone knows a breath on a waveform. And I set all my keyboard shortcuts to get rid of that, but I don't remove breaths anymore.
Okay.
I remove
yeah, filler words.
I do that too.
Yeah.
Right, long pauses. I'll remove those unless I think it's important.
Right. Yeah. Oh man.
See, this would be good. It'd be good podcast talk. I like it.
This is very much insider talk that we're on to now.
A little bit.
Insider baseball.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I miss baseball. I'll tell you, I'm gonna admit this here on the waves. I am currently watching periodically South Korean baseball on YouTube. Yeah.
Now, Jason, obviously, you've got a baseball team there.
In Chicago, yes.
Yeah, in the White Sox.
Yes.
Two of
George,
them.
you got a baseball team?
We have the Nationals. It's the
Yeah.
closest one to us.
Okay. See, 'cause
And then
we don't have one up
Orioles
here.
is
Yeah,
not
yeah.
too far away either.
Does Buffalo declare loyalty to the Indians? Or-
because of the farm team,
Or
kinda.
doesn't Pittsburgh have a baseball
Yeah,
team?
the Pirates. Yeah.
The Pirates, yeah. So you probably have some pirate.
I'm going to throw this out here to my Google. Excuse me.
Okay. So, Jason, next time you're in town,
Yeah.
Fredericksburg built a new minor league ballpark.
Wikipedia. The
Did they
Buffalo
really?
Bison.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, so
wow,
now
okay.
the Fredericksburg Nationals
Bisons play in the
are
International
playing
League and are
there.
the triple
So-
affiliate.
Okay, so what level are they and what team are they affiliated with?
Class A and
Single A. Okay.
and I think you could probably guess as like the Nationals.
Fredericksburg has the single A affiliate for the local Washington Nationals.
Yes.
Okay.
That's great for them. They'll have
Yeah.
great turnouts for that.
And I
Good
just
for them.
figured it sounds like a fun time. Anyway, you were saying, Scott.
Buffalo is the AAA affiliate for the Blue Jays, which makes sense.
Oh, geez, that makes way more
2 hours
sense.
away.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We were the affiliate we were the AAA team for the Indians, but now we are the affiliate for the Blue Jays.
Okay. That makes perfect sense.
But I mean, in this town, we're basically a football hockey town.
Baseball
Football, hockey
doesn't
football,
register
hockey,
for a lot of people.
But
Not really, no.
Yeah. Okay.
what successful football team does Buffalo have?
Oh, come on. Come on.
That
was mean.
This is our year too. I don't want to hear this kind of crap. This is our year. We've got Josh Allen. This is our year.
I tell you, Buffalo's pretty stacked right now. Like,
What do you got? Trubisky?
oh yeah, no. We're not going to talk about the Bears. No, we're not going to do that. No,
We got
no joke. The Bills are pretty stacked right now. Like that they could really turn some heads this year.
this is the thing too, where coronavirus hits. Like all of a sudden, Buffalo, we're like, all right, we got this year. Did you see that draft? and then coronavirus hits. Like they're gonna take it away from us. We're not gonna have a season.
Oh man, that's
We
funny.
had 4 Super Bowls in a row. They were 4 losses, but we don't talk about that. We just talk about the 4 in a row. Honestly, in Buffalo, we're like 4 AFC East titles. What?
So maybe okay, so help me out with how the baseball farm team system worked. Is it A is closest to majors or AAA is closest to
AAA.
majors?
A,
AAA.
AA, and AAA.
Okay.
And
all
it's
right.
the way it's normally structured is it's kind of in the order of the most populous towns that end up
Okay.
making those. So Buffalo is a good example because Buffalo is a pretty major city that does not have a professional team. So AAA just seems to be the fitting choice. Another example
Right.
is Charlotte, North Carolina, because Charlotte has the AAA affiliate for the White Sox. I'll mention the Sox other farm teams. The White Sox AA affiliate is Birmingham, Alabama. And their I gotta look this up and make sure. Their single A affiliate, I believe, is Winston-Salem, which is in North Carolina.
So, and help me out with this. What is A versus advanced A?
I have no idea.
Me
Okay, because
neither.
apparently the Fredericksburg team is an advanced A, and they do have a Class A team and a short season A team. So apparently,
I know
Class A
nothing
is
about
I
like
have no
3 different.
idea.
Yeah.
I have-
Okay.
Wow.
Well, again, football and hockey. That's
Yeah,
the kind
you're
of
right.
stuff we talk
I
about in
don't even-
Buffalo.
I don't
I
even
mean-
know where to start.
Wait, no, that guy over there is like
Right.
baseball guy, so I thought maybe
Right.
he'd know. Yeah.
I should know. I am completely lost, though. I got nothing. Huh.
Right? And as it goes, football and hockey, I will only talk football. We don't talk hockey right now because if there were playoffs this year, we would be one of the 7 teams that wouldn't make it.
They would not make it?
Would not make it.
That's correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah,
Yeah, we don't talk hockey.
that's fair.
Chicago. Who do you guys got? You got
Blackhawks.
well, yeah, I know, but Blackhawks. Is that
What,
the name of the
Tays?
team? Who's Blackhawks? No, there's a really big name on Blackhawks.
There's
Which
a
I would
really
get
what?
if I weren't 3 into the 8%ers.
There's a couple really good names on the Blackhawks. There's Kane, there's Tays, there's
Keith,
yeah, yeah,
Corey Crawford,
Corey Crawford,
Nolan,
yeah.
goalie.
Yeah,
I'm not sure who you're thinking of.
We've had good teams, and it's not.
It's not now.
No,
No.
No, unfortunately, it's not right now.
Yeah. Oh man.
But football,
But football.
this is our year. Hopefully, we have a season.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Are you still able
especially
to?
Tom
Baseball's
Brady in
not looking
Tampa?
good.
Are you still able to console yourself that you're undefeated this year, Jason? No, it's not helping.
Let me tell a little story about South Korean baseball, and this is one, Georgia, you'll appreciate.
Okay, all right.
I'm gonna go get a drink. Let me tell you a little story about South Korean baseball.
No, Scott, you're gonna want to hear this because you'll appreciate
Okay.
this.
All right.
Okay.
So, the South Korean teams are not marked by the city that they're in; they're marked by the company sponsor.
Mm.
Okay.
Now, if you know anything about South Korean business, there's
I know
certain
nothing.
major South Korean businesses that dominate like all facets of the economy, and it's mainly companies that we're all familiar with: Samsung, LG, just to name 2, and there's 4 or 5 other, and that makes up. So rather than like the Seoul, Red Dragons, it'll be the Samsung Red Dragons, and that's kind of the sequence that it goes. So, anyways, the teams do have players from outside of South Korea. There's a couple of American players that have gotten signed and have come over, and that's kind of interesting to see. And the games play a lot like the American game of baseball that we're familiar with. So, I mean, it's totally watchable. But there's one team, and I can't remember who the sponsor was, but they have a closing pitcher, and the pitcher's nickname is the Final Boss.
See, I like that.
Yeah. What a great pitcher's nickname for a baseball closer. The
Yeah.
Final Boss.
Agreed. Like you got to
Yeah.
beat the final boss, guys.
Yes, exactly.
That is
Gonna have
amazing.
like special music that plays.
Right,
and
right.
The lights kind of dim, and
But it's no mystery that video games are a huge thing in South Korea. So it's very, very fitting.
absolutely.
If video games have
Yeah.
taught me anything, is you need to find his weakness and exploit it 3 times.
Yeah, absolutely.
You look
And you
for that
win.
slow curveball that he throws on the inner half of the inside corner.
Yep. And if you do it 3
And if you-
times,
and if- And if you missed the weapon you need earlier on in the game, you're screwed.
earlier I said Evander Kane, who was on the San Jose Sharks, who was on the Sabres. I meant Patrick Kane, who
Patrick Kane, yeah.
is from Buffalo.
Right. He grew up in Buffalo. That's true.
He's South Buffalo.
Yeah, he's all Chicago now.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Beer
It's
flop.
not even just Buffalo. There's one section of Buffalo that's claiming Patrick Kane as their own.
South Buffalo. He's South Buffalonian.
Buffalo.
The truth is, most
That's
of
nice.
Buffalo would kind of just rather be done with Patrick Kane, but he's a
I
good
get
player, and we would also like to have him back. That's how we are in Buffalo. Like
Was it
half
in
of Buffalo.
Was it in Buffalo for that time that he got drunk and beat up a cab driver?
Yes, it was. Thanks for remembering.
That was a wild story.
That is a wild
Yeah.
story. Oh man.
You didn't do your hometown proud.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, being that happened in his own hometown.
Yep. And everyone in Buffalo is like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, for good reason.
Yeah.
That was not a good scene.
Yep.
Hey, shifting gears, I am heading down to Richmond to see the in-laws for Father's Day next weekend.
Awesome.
And so I'm going to drop by their homebrew supply store that's down there, and I'm going to pick up my stuff to make the deck building shandy that I said I was going to make again.
All right.
And I have decided to swap out the flavor hop on that one to one of the ones that we talked about on last Monday. The Waiti is the one that I was
going tropical. Okay.
going a little tropical because it's already a lemon lime one, so that kind of extra citrusy notes and things I think will really help there. So that's
Nice.
yeah. So it gets away a little bit from the German noble hops, which I'm really a big fan of, but I think it'll add good character. I know, right? Yeah. Yeah, apparently I need like 5 hops to make beer, 5 varieties, and that's about it. But I think I am going to try the Waiti, and assuming they have it in stock there, and go with that.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
You'll be glad you did.
Yeah. Yeah.
What else we got?
I'm gonna get another beer.
Okay.
I am going to get a Mexican lager that Ellicottville was able to brew without naming it Corona something.
Okay, that's good.
I know, right? Because you feel like every Mexican lager brewed in the past 12 weeks has got to be named Corona something.
I mean, I drank a Modelo at this on this show last week.
Yes,
nice.
that's true.
Yeah.
Well, no, you didn't. You drank a Modelo Guido or whatever it was. Modelito, yeah.
When Scott gets back, I'm going to go up to my fridge and grab another one of those too.
Okay.
Right.
Go ahead, Scott.
Come on by. Yeah, I gotta give big credit once again to this Pullman Brown Ale.
Yeah. Okay.
This is really, really good.
Yeah, I got 2 cans of that because that came a little late for me, so I got 2 cans of that
that's
in my
right.
fridge.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Coming on the heels of that dry stout I had yesterday too, I feel like I'm in a good spot for lighter dark beers, non-imperial.
Oh, I get that. I was never a big fan of the imperial, like the imperial or the Russian imperials and things. It just,
I mean, like anything else, it's got to be done right.
well, true. It's just like the combination of the fullness of a darker beer like that, plus the heat of alcohol, never really sat well with me. You know?
That's fair.
Yeah.
And we're not in prime stout or porter season, of course.
True.
So
A little warm.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I won't shy away because, I am who I am.
You are who you are. Yes. Yeah. Oh, man. So I do have a bunch of different grains to pick up this weekend. I might have them
Your
grinded
brew day is
up.
going to be the following weekend?
Probably the following weekend. So then the question becomes, do I have them grinded up or do I get it there and grind it up at my house? It's going to be a week in between.
I don't think that week's going to make a big difference.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
I mean, if it was a month, I would probably have something to say. 1 week, no.
Yeah. And I've gotten it ground there before I had my twin roller. And it's set at it gets a really nice crack, and they are...
okay, then mill it there.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Just save some time on my brew day.
Yeah.
And I
You
think
can spend your energy recirculating.
Which, yes, I will be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not looking back, man. I did get another quick disconnect because I am going to do a gravity sparge instead of the using the Herm system.
Okay.
I'm going to use the same manifold, but I'm just going to let gravity do the sparge because I found that a little hard to control from how much sparge water would go in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think if I just use gravity, it's going to be a little easier to control. Yeah. But yeah, so
I
what
trust
about
that'll
you?
work out just fine.
Are you doing a brew day this weekend?
Not planning on it. It's not out of the question.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
you got some grains burning a hole in your pocket there, you know?
I do. Yes, I do. Making no excuses for it. Just being
Yeah,
lazy.
Yeah, no, I get it.
That's it.
I completely understand.
I got a new setup too. I've got a pump and I got quick
right.
disconnects. It's all
could do-
it's all set up too.
You could do a straight up whirlpool now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I can. Yeah.
All right.
Like get off my lazy bum ass and just get to brewing some beer.
I'm halfway through.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Oh, and
Wow.
I don't know if you can see this Fredericksburg Tacos and Beer Festival.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, not the best beer fest I've ever been to. but it was
Tacos and
pretty
beer.
good. Yeah.
The
Yeah,
one we went to was the Chilean beer.
Yes. This was a different one.
That was the
and
Orange
they-
County that put that on, wasn't it?
Right. And they do every year. And that one's actually pretty good. They went out in Fredericksburg. They have taco trucks and beer places that come.
Okay.
But the thing I didn't like about it is number one, it was like 900 degrees on the day they did. That's not their fault, but oh my God, it was so hot.
Yeah.
And the other problem was there wasn't enough of either for the amount of people that were there. So you were standing in long lines for the food trucks as well as for the beer stands. So you couldn't sample as much as you wanted, and
Yeah, that sucks all around.
yeah. So
Yeah, I wish there was an easy answer to that, but
There's-
too often those festivals just kind of fall short of themselves for that very reason.
right.
So
Yeah, so one hopes they realize that and
yeah,
can maybe do better next year because I think
Yeah.
it's a relatively new thing that they did. Yeah, so
the last big beer festival that we were hoping for this year just got postponed.
the Joliet
Yes.
one?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, he had talked about doing it in October. You mean postponed from that point?
Yeah, it will not be happening this year.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah. So I think the beer festivals in Illinois for 2020 are down to one possible one,
Okay, which one?
and that's FOBAB.
Fobab, really?
November.
Okay.
Yes, we shall
right.
see.
Yeah.
No guarantees.
This stupid year. We just need to get to the next one.
Yes. Oh, that's exactly how I feel about it too.
Oh man!
And
And
I know
on
I'm
top
not
of
alone.
everything else, like right now, my phone carrier is under a denial of service attack, so I can't make any phone calls.
What?
Yeah,
A
pretty much.
denial of service.
Yeah, it's looking more and more like that. That a lot of T-Mobile is down right now and has been since 3, because of targeted attacks against them.
Cyber attacks
Mm-hmm.
from outside the country.
Yeah. From some of the names that you would probably think of when you think about cyber attacks from outside the country. Yes. Yeah. But, it's something they're working on. So we'll
Why
see what
is
happens.
I mean, what's so special about T-Mobile that they
I
would
don't
be a special target?
know. Yeah, I don't know if they pissed off the wrong person or what, but yeah, that's what's happening at the moment. Yeah. But anyway,
Did Scott fall in the toilet?
I don't know. Go get your beer. I'll
No,
I
I
can
can't
hold
do
the fort.
that. Yeah, I can't do that.
All right.
I appreciate that. You're being a good sport, but I can't I can't leave you hanging like that.
It's all right.
Yeah.
So, some advanced techniques in brewing, just to give another quick topic here that I have that I've been thinking about. And, again, think about this from the perspective of somebody that's relatively new to brewing. So, not the likes of us. Here's a few that I have listed. Using a refractometer, adding a pump to your system, a Herms setup, recipe building, water chemistry.
Recipe building does not belong with those.
Don't think so?
No. No. I mean, in terms of advanced brewing techniques, like you're saying, you're building recipes long before you're doing things like putting a pump system in.
Okay, that's fair. Water chemistry,
Yes. Yes, I agree.
smoking beers,
Yeah. Yeah.
kegging,
Yes.
and dry hopping.
I could probably make an argument for dry hopping being a mid-level.
Mid-level? Okay.
But I guess if it's a conversation of what's beginner level and what's advanced level, I would definitely say it's advanced level.
And that's kind of where I was going to,
Yeah.
is like beginner level versus advanced, as far as like what
Yeah.
is, what
I would not leave out yeast starters from that list.
yeast starters. That is a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. All right.
What else?
What other advanced?
What else would be fitting with that?
Yeah.
How about Whirlpool hop additions?
So that I was thinking about throwing in like the adding a pump.
All right.
As
That's
one
fair.
of the reasons to
Yeah,
add a pump
that's-
is to
yeah,
create
that's
a
fair.
whirlpool.
That's
Okay.
fair.
And let's see. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can add to your stuff, like instead of like using a hop spider or a muslin bag or anything like that for it, but it's not really a technique per se.
Yeah. I don't think they belong there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think that's-
Water chemistry you got? Okay.
Water
and I think
chemistry
I think that's a great choice.
Yeah. That's one of those ones that's, and I was looking at it from the perspective of either making your life easier, which I think a refractometer does, rather than trying to use a
100%.
hydrometer
Yes,
or a thief.
absolutely makes your life easier. Yeah.
And being able to take your stuff from good to great is the
Yeah.
other side of it that I was thinking of.
Here's another one.
Okay.
Fermentation temperature control.
Temperature control and fermentation. Okay.
Building a fermentation chamber or
Right.
having something that functions that way.
Right. Okay. All right. I like that. How do you feel about and we've not done this unless you have fermentation under pressure?
I have not done this.
I have not done
I
that.
can't.
either.
Yeah, I can't really speak to it.
Do you know what the benefits are to that? Like, why would somebody do that? I mean, maybe just some speculation here. Maybe
Yeah.
Scott, if he ever returns from making the beer that he wants to drink, maybe he's done it before. Fermenting under pressure. You can serve beer directly from the unit tank. Counter pressure bottle filters. Using fermenting lagers under pressure is a huge benefit to unit tank. This is for a particular type of tank. Is fermenting under beer is ready quicker. Pressure fermentation allows you to carbonate the beer naturally using the.
Go ahead and finish.
Oh, I was just looking at the change in Scott's.
Yeah.
No more esters or fusel. Fusel? 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 How do you pronounce that? I've seen it. I've never had to
Fusel?
say it. Fusel? I've never had to say it before. You can ferment your beer at slightly higher temperatures than normal, as pressure fermentation inhibits esters and fusel flavor fermentation. Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So if you do it under pressure, it inhibits the ester production. So, but if you're doing something like a Belgian or something where you want ester production, I wonder if that would prevent
that's
you
not going to
from-
work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that on Thursday's episode?
I think we
I
can.
want to take some time and read about that and have a
Yeah.
better discussion about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's something that we should definitely talk about.
Fermentation under pressure.
Yeah, okay.
I think that'll be a point to bring us out on. And let's,
I thought Scott was coming back, but I guess maybe not.
apparently not. Yeah. So
Okay.
but I honestly want to look that up and I want to have a good discussion about it. So I think that's
Okay.
I think it's a perfect
Then
point
let's-
right there.
Let's table that. We'll talk about that on Thursday.
Good deal. Thank you for tuning into the webcast. You can check us out every Monday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel has all of our past episodes as well, including the June 4th episode we talked about with John Bitterman, the historian from Joliet. That's an episode well worth checking out. So I hope you have a chance to listen to that if you haven't already. We have a podcast under the name A Nice Place to Brew, available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and wherever else you get your podcast from. We have social media pages under A Nice Place to Brew and Nice Place to Brew, and a website, www.aniceplacetobrew.com.
All right.
Done.
Done.
All right. Good show, sir. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's send it off in style and say it takes a lot of good beer to make great beer. Cheers.
Cheers.